Hey everybody, it's Kathy Champion and you're back with me in my craft room, and I am so glad you're here. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in Gastonia, North Carolina, and today we are going to look at this beautiful suite called the Art Gallery. Now if you have a catalog that's in the new mini catalog, if you don't have a catalog, you can go to my blog and I have a copy of the catalog listed there where you can actually download it in a PDF. If you wanted to, you could even print it out, but really no need to do that. You can basically just look at it online, and it's beautiful, and you can actually kind of zoom in on pictures so you can actually see them even closer than what you would be able to see them here. This is actually called the Fine Art Floral, but the stamp set is called Art Gallery, and this is the suite. And when you buy a suite, it comes with everything you see. It comes with both of the papers, a specialty paper and a designer series paper, an embossing folder, stamp set and dies. You usually get a ribbon or an embellishment, and this one threw in a sticky powder and this gold leafing. Now I tried working with this morning, and I'm going to have to work with it a little bit more because I had a little difficulty, but it was probably a user flaw and not the product. But anyway, when I got everything out except those two items, and we are going to make a card, and I can't wait to show you just how beautiful this particular set is. It is simply gorgeous, and I've seen other demonstrators use this, and everybody that has used it has just really gone crazy over it. The first thing you want to notice when you look at this and the paper, it looks like somebody painted everything with brush strokes. So it has a very artsy look to it, which is gorgeous. These are photopolymer stamps, and this is the stamp set. It has this little small bundle of flowers. You have this small flower here with the center to stamp in it. And this is called a two-step stamp. And if you're not familiar with two-step, you stamp your first image in a lighter color, and then you come back with a darker color and do this. But I'm going to show you how you don't have to use but one ink pad to do that. And I think the effect is better than using a variety of different inks. You have this beautiful green stem, and I'm going to show you on this card that I had already made. We're going to do something a little different today, but here's a card that I made using this. I used the die that comes with it, just want to say, and I used the happy birthday. But look at that beautiful flower. See how it looks like somebody painted that with brush strokes? I love that. It's gorgeous. And then I used the smaller, let me open this card up. I used the smaller image right there in the corner, and I used a different stamp set for the sentiment because I wanted something that said more than just happy or whatever. But anyway, it has this gold vellum. It's actually a printed gold vellum. It's gold on one side and silver on the other, so you get kind of the best of both worlds. So if you wanted to do your card more in silver tones, you could do that, or if you want like the gold, you can do that. But look how beautiful that is. And what I did is I used a terracotta tile cardstock. I cut my piece at 4.5 by 11 and scored it at 5.5. And I cut a piece of gold foil. But I want to show you a trick that I used using my gold foil. I cut my piece that I needed, the size, and then I went in and grabbed my my rectangle. I'll get my angles right here in a minute. And I cut the center of that out. And I'm saving this for another card because we all know that our foils are very expensive, and I like to get the most bang for my buck. But as you can see, I've got that border all the way around, and nobody has to know that I cut the center out of it. That is a great way to stretch your foil paper. And then I cut another mat of this particular paper right here. This is the one that I used. Let me see. I got this turned the wrong way. Let's go this way. I use this piece right here, and I cut it where the darker edge, and this matched the terracotta tile better. You could have grabbed some pinks up in here, but I love that dark right on that side and the lighter side over here. And I cut that the same size as I did my acetate, and here's the acetate. It is gorgeous. Now it comes with a backer on it, so if you buy this, you're going to have to pick the corner edge of it to get this to peel back. And I'm going to show you what I did. When I peeled it back, I only peeled it back off of what I had cut. So now when I get ready to cut my next piece, I will just peel that back like that, and it'll be ready. But I'm just going to leave that on until because what it does, it protects your piece of acetate so it doesn't get scratched or messed up. So you get this particular pattern, you get this piece, and this piece right here will fit over top of one of your designer series. Haha! And see how it outlines those flowers in the gold? Now you can put this together, and what I would do is I would put a glue dot on the corners to hold it in place if you're going to take it through your trimmer at the same time. But what I would do, I think, for my suggestion would be I would cut them separately. But we're going to use this piece today. I don't think I'm going to use the acetate because I didn't lay the acetate down on it before I cut it. So we'll save that and we'll do one out of that. But that paper is gorgeous. I mean, look at these colors. I'm going to move the acetate over here, and I'm going to pull out just these gorgeous florals. So we got that one. And we have this one, and then this one, and then this one, and this one. Now, you get 2 sheets of each of these, and this side has that very painted sort of brushstroke look, but look at the other side. Somebody just went crazy with the paintbrush. So you have these that are more of a, what I would call a solid tone, and then you have your florals, and this one right here, and this matches up, and look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I mean, Stampin' Up thinks of everything, and I'm absolutely thrilled with every product that I have seen so far in this new mini catalog. These papers are just, look at that. Isn't that, I mean, it just looks like somebody went crazy with their paintbrush. And look at the strokes on this. And this is why they call this the art gallery, because it does look like an art gallery. So pretty. Look at that. And the colors that you can pull in by using these papers. Look at that yellow. I mean, it is just, it's simply gorgeous. I mean, stunning, stunning paper. And I am enjoying it immensely. I'm going to set this out of my way just for a moment. I'm going to bring my stamp set back in. The dies are to die for, and they cut your leaf, they cut your small bunch of flowers, they cut your big flower, they cut your small one, and then you also get this large one that's just wanted to say, and that's what I used on this card. And then I stamped the happy birthday. You get these little dies that will cut these out. If you get the stamp set, you definitely want to bundle, save 10%. Get these dies because they are gorgeous. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, we're going to move that out of the way. This painted texture 3D embossing folder has such depth to it. It looks like that brush stroke, and I thought we're going to use this. And I got an idea for a card today that I want to do, and I'm going to bring in my pieces. I had already pre-cut a piece of the designer series paper, the white. I picked up the Night of Navy in the little teeny places, and I used that for my card base. I pulled in the white from right there for that, and I've got this. I want to run this through this embossing folder. So I'm going to lay this in about like that, And I'm going to bring my machine over. Now I can't use my little mini for this because these embossing folders will not fit in your mini machine. But they will definitely fit in your regular machine. So we're going to bring this over. And I do keep this right here on my work surface. Now I'm going to take all of these mats off because this is the one for your die cuts. This is my cutting plate and this is my top plate. I don't need any of those for my embossing folder. This is a 3D embossing folder, so the only thing we're going to need for this one is our number 4 plate. And if I can do this without making a mess over here, this is your number 4 plate, and this is the plate you use. It tells you right down here that with your 3D embossing folders, you use your number 1 plate, which is right here, and your number 4 plate, and you sandwich your embossing folder between the two. You always want to try to make sure that your embossing folder is going in on the folded side. So I'm just going to lay that right there. And we are, look how easy. I mean, come on people. I love it. Look how easy that cranked through. No problem with getting that through whatsoever. And I want you to look at this texture. Oh my word. Can you see that? I always feel like the camera never does this justice. But usually when I go back and I'm editing my video, I do see that it does show up. But that is stunning. Could you imagine taking maybe one of the new brushes? Oh, these are fantastic. And just dabbing a little bit of a color and just doing that over this. Oh. We'll definitely have to do that, maybe on my next card. I have an idea for this one, so I don't want to do it just yet. Alright, I'm going to lay my embossing folder out of the way. I'm going to put my machine back together. We will be using this again to cut some pieces out, but for right now we don't need it. So we're going to move it back over here. I've got a tip and a trick for keeping your plates, your cutting plates, your number 3 plates from warping. And I want you to look at mine. Now I have been using this since August. And look, if this plate, if my cut plate starts to bow the least little bit, and what happens normally, it will bow like that. And as soon as I see it, I flip it over. And it looks like it would curl this way, but your top plate is the one that will curl this way. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is my old plate. And see how bowed it is? Because I didn't do a simple technique. And that is, every time you cut, flip your top plate. Not your bottom. Flip your top plate. Flip it this way, flip it this way, but always make sure you're turning it over in a different direction at every die cut that you make. And you will be pleasantly surprised at how well that will work for your plates. So let's set this back out of the way. And let's pull our pieces back in, because I'm so excited. I just can't. I literally cannot stand it. I'm so excited over this. I have a scrap piece of Whisper White, which is now going to be called Basic White. And I have the Night of Navy ink pad. Now I am going to pull over a piece of scrap paper because I want to stamp off, and you're going to see what I'm talking about. And I'm going to show you how we make this beautiful flower, but we're going to do this one in Night of Navy. I think it's going to be stunning on this card. So I'm going to grab my stamp set, and I'm going to pull off my 2 big flowers. The one that looks the fullest is the first one you want to use. So I'm going to lay that one down. I'm going to pull the other one off too, because we're going to use both of these. Now, photopolymer does stain, and especially when you're using a very dark pigmented ink, such as the Night of Navy or the terracotta tile, which I used for the card that I showed you earlier. Let me get up here closer so I can make sure that I am staying in frame, because and I'm going to zoom y'all in just a little bit. about like that. So that way you can see exactly what I'm doing. You know, it's so important to be able to see. I do want to cut this piece of paper down. And the reason I'm cutting it down is I don't want to have to cut it after I stamp it. I'm just going to cut it to maybe about 3 inches. This would go through our little mini machine. Since that will work, it has a 3-inch base, and the big one has a 6-inch footprint. So I'm going to go ahead and ink up this one in that Night of Navy, and it's a nice dark rich color. But we do not want to stamp directly down with that. We're going to stamp off. And you know what? I need my Stampin' Pierce mat. I almost forgot. Let's put that on there. Let's do this again. We're going to do this again because I messed up. I should have had that underneath my stamp all along. Stamp off. And then we're going to stamp on. Isn't that pretty? It didn't cover good right there, but you know what? That's okay. And I think it's because I have an air bubble in my stamp. And sometimes that happens when you put a stamp on a stamp block. You'll get an air bubble under it. I tell you what, let's try this again. It's not going to hurt to stamp more than one. And I'm going to press that down on there. Yeah, I'm getting very inky fingers overdoing that, but you know what? That's okay. That's all right. I am going to take my Stampin' Scrub and put it out here. And I think I'm going to mist it with a little bit of my Stampin' Mist. I hadn't put any new on it in a while. I probably need to take it. I'm going to clean my inky fingers while I'm here. There we go. Alright, let's try this again and hope we don't get that air bubble. That looks a little better. So let's try it here. And I'm just giving it a good rub. And that does look better, so you don't have that middle. I got that air bubble out. So if that ever happens to you, that's exactly what you need to do. Remount it and come back and try it again. Now I'm just going to clean off that stamp. And let's lay this one right here. And now I want to center this over there, just like that. And I'm going to pick that up, and I'm going to ink this. Now this one's going to go down full strength. And we want to get it right over top of it. This is that 2-step stamping. And press it and lift it. Look at that dimension. Isn't that gorgeous? I am loving the stamp set. Now, we've got other stamp sets that have that same 2-step, but because this one looks so artsy and it looks so hand painted, I just absolutely love it. Now, what I'm going to do is I want to go ahead and die cut this. There we go. Alrighty. I think the problem there was I didn't have this edge down in there like it should have been. But anyway, we got that cut. I'm going to move this over to the side. And let's take Toby. Come. I don't know what he heard in there, but evidently he didn't like whatever it was. Alright, and there is our beautiful image cut out, and look how pretty that is. So now what we need to do, we need to stamp that leaf. So I'm going to lay this die back over, and I am going to do this leaf in, do I want the garden green, or let me look at my pack of paper. It will tell me what greens. Remember what I told you, you can look back here and tell Mossy Meadow, Mossy Meadow Old Olive. Let's use the Mossy Meadow. You know, Mossy Meadow. Yeah, I think I'm good with the Mossy Meadow. I like that. So, Mossy Meadow. Or do I want Old Olive? This is my Mossy Meadow, and I got a feeling this is going to be too dark. Let's try it. We won't know until we try, right? So I'm going to move my little machine out of my way just for a minute, and I'm going to grab my stamp set. And let's try this and see what we think. If we don't like it, you know what? We can always come back and stamp it in another color. So I'm going to grab this stamp block and I'm going to ink this up. And I'm going to bring this back over along with this. Yeah, I think I might try the Old Olive. Okay, let's give the Old Olive a try. Because I really I don't want it to be super dark green, but I want it to be a little bit darker than that secondary stamping. So let's try this one. I think that's kind of an in-between the two. Yeah. Alright, and I got ink on my block. Not what I wanted. Just clean that off really quick. And then we're going to bring this piece back. And I am going to ink it up. And I got my... You know, if you use a stamp block that is bigger than you need, you're more apt to get your ink on the side. So that's why it's so good to use a stamp block that will suit your stamp size. Now that's pretty. I like that. I think that color will look really good with the blue. Oh yeah, I love that. So now we're going to get the leaf die, and we're going to cut this out. Again, it's important to lock these down. And you know, you can use washi tape like this just to tack that down. But it is good. Now, y'all know that Stampin' Up! Had problems with their magnetic plate that they came out with. And everyone that had bought one got a refund. I'm going to just use my die machine over here since I've got it already set up and ready to go. And see what I said? I just cut this way, so now I'm going to flip it like that. Next time I'll flip it like this. So that way I keep rotating that plate, and that makes the plates last a lot longer. Alright, let's move that over here and get my tape off of there. And now let's go ahead and see if we can assemble our card. The one thing that I want to do before I go any further, after I close out my ink pads, y'all know an open ink pad is an invitation for me to make a mess, so I can get into an ink pad better than anybody and make the biggest mess. Alright, let's pull everything back over, and we got to do a little work with our trimmer and our little score. Now again, I'm going to sing the praises of my Stampin' Up! Trimmer / score. Unlike so many other trimmers, this one has a score blade and a cut blade. It also has a ledge at the top and the bottom. Let me turn it this way so you can see. At the top and the bottom, you have a place to rest each one of your blades so they're out of the way, and they work independently with each other. So once you move them out of your way, you can use the other one totally freely without that one getting in the way. The other thing that this trimmer has, it has a nice ledge up here at the top, so that when you put your paper up in here and you butt it against that ledge, you're going to have a nice even cut every time. The other thing that I love about this trimmer is you have 17 1/4 inches to stretch your paper all the way across here. So most of them only go to like 12. This one goes all the way out to 17, which is always a great, you might not never need it, but it's there if you do. You have metric as well as our imperial, and you also have a guide here in the middle, which is great when you're doing angle cuts or you're trying to make sure that you've got everything lined up. You also have them here at the bottom. So whichever way you're cutting, you've got them. Here on the side, you have this that has the measurements on the side, both metric and imperial. And the same thing over here. If you look, I'm just going to lay this piece underneath to give us that white. But if you look right here, you have your 1 inch, 2 inches, all the way down this track. And I'm going to zoom y'all in so you can see that. You see what I mean? So if you need to line up, you've got a line on here. So if you need to line that up to 6, you can line that up to 6 and cut exactly on that side where you need to. And I'll show you how beneficial that's going to be right now. I have measured the middle of this, and I made myself a mark. And I want to cut an angle here and here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up in the track, and I'm going to line this piece up as closely into that track as I can feel. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut right here up to that angle, and then we're going to turn it around and we're going to do the same thing this way. And I'm going to bring my piece to my blade right to where, oops, twisted it, right to where I think that angle is, and it's right there. So I want to make sure that that's in my track, and once I put that down, then I'm going to sink my blade, and I'll score up and up. And I may have to come up just a little bit more, or if you don't get it completely out, this is where your paper snips will come in to play. And now we can come in and just clip that out. Now we have a nice little angle, and save that because you might be able to use that on something else. We have a nice little angle cut. Let's score our card. So move that cut blade out of our way, and we're going to score this at 4 1/4. Did I score that wrong? I did. I scored that wrong. 4 1/4. Now, how did I do that? I do not know, but I did. That's okay. We are going to use it. You know why? Because that piece of cardstock is going to cover that. So we are going to grab the bone folder, and I am going to crease that down really good, and we are going to cover that up with our designer paper. Not just our designer paper, but also our white piece. So when we put this white piece down, and then we put this piece over it, we can then put our beautiful flower right about there with the stem coming down right here. Isn't that pretty? So did you see how I wanted to showcase the paper, but also showcase my embossing folder with that beautiful painted texture? And you know, if you wanted to, you could, and let's try it. If it doesn't work out good, we can turn it around. Let's try a little inking on that. And I have a little acetate thing here that a friend of mine made me. We're going to try just a little bit of inking. We don't have to go crazy. I am going to use the Night of Navy, but I'm going to be very, very, very soft. That would be the word. We are going to come in very softly. And I have a brush that I already have blue on. Now this is not stained. I mean, it doesn't have ink on it. I have cleaned it, but it is stained because these inks do stain. So let's try this. I'm just gonna, and see, I want to blot some of that off because I don't want to come in with that much. And let's just come in from this corner very lightly. Very lightly. Pick up a little bit more of that ink. Now remember, anytime you're doing this, you want to have the touch of a butterfly. Look how pretty that is. Oh, I'm loving it. Now you get 3 of these brushes in a pack. 3 of them for $12. They are phenomenal. And you know how I clean mine? I literally take some of the Stampin' Mist and I spray it onto one of my little microfiber towels, and I do this. That's how I clean. And then I just make sure that I wipe it off really good. And look, yes, it's stained, but it's clean. That's how easy it is to do that. Now I'm going to do the same thing with that, what I put on my towel, and I'm going to clean up my little pad because we had a little bit more ink than what we needed. By putting that little bit of blue on there, it's going to really pull the blue out of the designer series paper along with the flower. I think this is going to be gorgeous. So let's put this down. And y'all know, and I suggest all crafters to do this, all card makers. Lay your card out before you start gluing, because you may decide that you want to do something a little bit different. Oh, look at that. I love that. It's subtle, but it does make a statement. Now, I found out to put my stem on the back of my flower, the best thing to use is a glue dot. So I am going to pick up a glue dot right here on the end of my stem. Just like that. And then I'm going to hold my flower, and I'm just going to come down over that, and you can put the leaf under the flower if you like, or over the flower. And there we go. Now we're going to pop that up on dimensions as well. But that's just a really easy way to to be able to do that and get your flower and your stem on there just like you want it. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm thinking I want to do it like that now. Maybe like that. Yeah, I like that because now it gives me an opportunity to see more of that blue. That is pretty. So we need to decide what sentiment we need. And I think I'm going to do a I need a get well card. Alright, we're going to have to go look for a get well. And I know I've got one called Healing Hugs. So let me go pull that stamp set and I'll be right back. Okay, I am back and I did find exactly what I was looking for. I'm going to zoom y'all out just a little bit. There we go. I found this Healing Hugs and it says wishing you a quick and complete recovery. This is someone that's in my my team leaders group that is suffering from, she's part of our team and she has COVID and she's very ill, and I thought what a wonderful way to show support. I don't know this lady, but I do wish her a very quick and complete recovery. With COVID, that's the thing, is getting that complete healing. So she's definitely in my prayers. And here we go. I thought this Ornate Frames would be the perfect backdrop for this stamp. So I am going to stamp this, and do I want to do it on white? I'm thinking the white would be really pretty on here. So we are going to do this on white, and I have a piece of white. Of course, I dropped it, but that's okay. We picked it up. I am going to stamp this like so. And the question is, do I want to do it in the Night of Navy, or do I want to do it in the black or the green? That old olive would be very pretty on there, I think. But then again, I'm going with black. I am going to go, because I really want this to make a statement on the card. So let's get a stamp block that will accommodate. The Stampin' Up! Stamp blocks, they have a size for just about any stamp that they make. They are wonderful. So if you have not invested in some really good stamp blocks, these are nice because they have a nice area to hold on to. And people say, you know, a stamp block's a stamp block, but that's not true. They're not. Okay, and let's go ahead. I didn't think that I was going to turn this into a get well card, but I do need that get well card. And why not, you know, when I'm bringing y'all a card, why not let it be a card that I can actually mail out to someone? I have been making a lot of birthday cards because I made sort of a resolution that if I have your birthday, I'm going to do my very best to make sure that I send you a birthday card. Starting this year. So I am compiling my birthday list, so I'm hoping that that will be something I can keep up with the entire year. But you know, that can be quite a task too, especially when you are on YouTube and you have quite a following. And but I am going to do my best to send birthday cards out this year. I know when my birthday rolls around, it really does brighten my day when I know that somebody thought enough to send me a card. So, and I hope that y'all feel the same way. So we're going to go ahead and cut this out. Now I'm going to push this one through a couple of times because the Ornate Garden has a lot of little pieces. And let's see if we got a good cut on that. Well, that cut really good. And let's pick it up and see how much of this came out on the one try. And it's looking really good, y'all. I didn't even have to take my brush. Look at that. When you can cut a die that is this intricate, and this is considered an intricate die, and it comes out like this, that is one awesome die cut machine. What do you think? Love it. So this is going to go in this bottom corner. I'm going to take this to my trash can and just scrape off my little pieces. And I usually just scrape it with my fingernail, and all those little pieces come out really good. Flipping my plate. And now let's go ahead and assemble. So now we have all of our pieces. I am going to use some liquid glue because we're using this embossing folder, and I want to make sure that I get glue in all these little nooks and crannies. And you have lots of nooks and crannies when you use embossing folders. So let's put that on and get our little edging all the way around, pressing it down. And then we're going to do the same thing with this one, and I'm going to also use the liquid glue on it because we're gluing it to a piece that has a lot of nooks and crannies. So let's put that down right about there. And let's press, press, press. I am going to go over it with just with the bone folder, just to press that down and get that glue kind of smashed out. Yeah, I think I want this to fall right about here. So I am going to grab some of my dimensionals. And I'm going to use some of the minis as well, because we got some small places in here that needs glue dots or needs dimensionals that we might not be able to use with the big ones. You could always cut these down, but it's just so much easier to use the mini dimensionals. And that's good. Let's see, I think we can get a large one there, and maybe there, and here. And you know what? I have a piece that I had used up where I've got little pieces that I've cut. We can use some of these on these tiny places, like that. And maybe right there. I always turn my piece over and make sure that I have none of my dimensionals that are sticking out where they show. You know, you don't want to get a card that's got the workings showing. So I always do everything I can to try to make sure that those types of things are hidden. Alright, let's pull that off. And then let's get this off. And this. These things are super sticky. Sometimes I have to feel them to see if I got all of them off, and I still got a couple right here. There we go. Alright, now we're going to position this exactly where we want it, and I'm thinking I want it to be just about like that. And then I want to pop this up. Oops, there was a little piece that was left in there. I like to hold them up to the light so I can kind of make sure everything got out of there. And I am going to pop this up as well. So we're going to put one here, and one here, and here. I think that'd be good, and that'll give it the stability that it needs, and it will sit up over top of our stem. So wrangle these off. I love taking them off with this Take Your Pick tool because look at that. They're all off, they're all wrangled, and we can put them all in the trash can. You know, if you're a neat freak and you don't like those things all over your craft room floor, oh, I won't say I'm a neat freak, but I don't like stuff everywhere. All right, there's the front of that card. Is that not gorgeous? So now all we need to do is put a piece of white inside so we can put a sentiment on the inside. And I think inside I'm just going to do something very simple like Get Well Soon. Maybe this Get Well Soon right here. Maybe with a little something, I don't know. We might do that little flower in the corner. So let's grab a piece of white cardstock. I'm hoping that they will be able to get the basic white in before too much longer, because, you know, if we run out and we can't get it right now, we can't order it. It might prove to be a little bit difficult. I'm going to cut it this way. 4 by 5 1/4. I grabbed that Flirty Flamingo. What did I do with it? Here it is. And we're going to stamp the flower and the little thing in the middle, and then we're going to go from there again. So let's do, I want to make sure y'all can see what I'm doing. That helps if you can see, huh? I think it does. Alright, let's find our little hydrangea. And we're going to do this. Okay, that looks good. Tap off. Oh, we got an air bubble. I've definitely given y'all a lesson today on air bubbles on your stamps. Very good. Very pretty. And now we're going to do the flower. Stamp off, stamp on. And then we're going directly down. Just like that. And I'm going to grab my marker, and I think I used this one. And I'm going to turn this way, and I'm just going to draw a stem. I got ink on there from something, but you know what? That's okay. That's alright. We'll sand that off with my little mono sand eraser. Now we need to grab the Healing Hugs and the Get Well Soon. And we're going to put this on, oops, I think that might have been what I got ink on with, was the actual stamp block. So this one we're going to do in the Memento. Just like that. Yes. Alrighty. So now if I don't have any inky fingers, maybe we can get, I'm going to use this little mono sand eraser. A lot of times you can get ink off with this, or we could stamp a butterfly. You know what I always say, if you make a boo-boo, cover it up. How about these little hearts? Those would be really cute, and we could do them in that pink. And I think that would, this is the Oval Occasion, again a new stamp set. I think this would be beautiful, and we could just do them just like that, and I think that would cover up that little boo-boo blunder. Let's use the smaller stamp block. We're going to do that again in the Flirty Flamingo, since that's what we made our boo-boo with. This will definitely help to cover those up. At least I hope so. I got ink on the block again. Very pretty. And that kind of covered up our boo-boo. So, like I said, you make a mistake, you just start over, or you find a way to rectify your mistake and move forward. So either way, one thing we as craft makers do is we don't give up. We just keep pushing. And it was very important for me to get this card done. And yeah, I ran into some little hiccups, but you know what? That's all part of life. So I am going to use my tape runner, or the Stampin' Seal. Old school here. You know, I'm used to calling tape a tape runner. This is not the Stampin' Seal Plus. This is just the Stampin' Seal. I can tell because I grabbed the wrong one. I usually like the Stampin' Seal Plus because it doesn't run. String, I think is the right word. But you know what? I use them both. And there we go. Can y'all believe we finally got that card done? And I'm going to keep this. You know why? This can very easily be another inside for another card, so that will not go to waste. So let's zoom in, and you tell me what you think of our beautiful card done with our art gallery bundle. I'm thinking these are elegant facet gems. I'm always so indecisive when it comes to putting my embellishments on, but I do love embellishments. I think they add so much to a card. And these ones right here, I think are the ones I'm going to use because I think they will pair well with this card. So I am going to, let's see if we can pick it up with the putty part. And let's put one right about here. And let's get a bigger one. And let's put it right about here. And I want a little one down here on the bottom corner. Right about there. And that kind of gives you your eye to flow in that. Maybe this one needs to go up in the top corner just a little bit higher. There. Now that kind of gives your eye that angle down the side. And I think this card is gorgeous, and I hope that my recipient, it will make her feel better, and it may just make her happy. So, and if you would, if you're a person of faith, and even if you're not, if you will send up a prayer for this lady. This COVID is horrible. My pastor is recovering from it, as well as our senior pastor. When I say senior, our regular pastor, who is not a senior, he is in his early 50s. He was hospitalized with it. Our senior pastor, who is over top of our senior citizens, and he is an older man, him and his wife both had it, and they are recovering at home. And we have about 70 people in our church that are very ill with COVID. So it's really a hard time right now. And here in North Carolina, it has been raging as it is everywhere. And we really just need to pray that we can get this vaccine out, that people can get vaccinated, and we can get this thing under control. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed spending some time with me today and working on this beautiful card. I hope you loved it as much as I do. And I hope that you would try something like this. You can find all the supplies that you would need to make this card over on my blog post, and everything will also be listed in the video description box below. So just click on the drop down where it says show more, or the little arrow that points down, and you'll find everything there, including the link that will take you to my blog. So until we craft again, may God bless you and keep you. May you find abundant joy, and as I always say in closing, let everything that you say and do bring glory to our Jesus. And if you think about that before you say something or do something, then you will always do the right thing. I love you all very much. God bless you. And until we craft again, bye-bye.